video today, we're taking a look at MITQ on the NYSE exchange. That's Moving Image Technologies Inc. This is a really nice chart setting up for a big squeeze here. We'll get into the chart in just a moment, but let's take a look at the fundamentals first, like we always do. You have a $12 million market cap compared to income of, or sales, I should say, of 18.6 million. Okay, very small market cap, obviously, for the revenue that they're bringing in. We have insider ownership of 35% here, and you have a short float of over 4%, so a significant amount of shares short out there, as well as a total float of about 6.5 million shares, so quite a tight float, which means it can make some explosive moves. As you should know, if you've been watching these videos, we talk about the float all the time. It's very important to finding the right setups. You want a low float like this, they can make the big moves, all right? So we have a great float there, good insider ownership, decent amount of short interest, and of course a very small market cap. Okay, we're checking the boxes of what kind of penny stocks we look for, right? So let's jump into some of their recent news. First, I'll show you their website here just to explain what they do. Moving Image Technologies, they're in the cinema business, particularly private cinema, aka rich people, right? I know you think cinema these days, you're like, movie theaters, they're dying. Well, rich people in New York City are not dying, and they're building private cinemas all the time. So this is the primary industry they service, as well as sports, esports, right? Venues, things like that. They're servicing all of these sectors. Here's some of their products, I should say, right? Projector pedestals, dimmers, LED lighting, energy management, assistive listening and captioning services. Here's some more services they do: integration, FF&E fulfillment, custom fabrication, design and consulting. Here's some of their featured partners. You got big names here like Professional, Barco, Sharp, and Dolby, some of the biggest names in cinema business. Okay, and they have some great news they've come out with recently as well. We'll take a look first at their Q3 results here from May 15th. They report a revenue of $3.57 million in Q3, improved Q3 gross profit, and reduced net loss. That's great, with a net cash steady at $5.4 million at end of quarter. And that's a really key point I want to highlight here as we jump into a little more detail on those Q3 25 highlights. We look at what's the chance of dilution on these small cap penny stocks, because obviously they all have chances of dilution. We want to know what the dilution risk is. So how do we minimize dilution risk against ourselves? Well, we need to pick stocks that have steady cash on hand, right? If you have $5.4 million cash on hand, you have enough money to fund your business. Now you don't need to dilute. So this is a really key point. This stock is not a dilutive stock, which is advantageous to bulls here that are looking for a squeeze on this stock. Okay, so that's very important to understand. We'll take a look at Q3 25 highlights in a little more detail here. You can see tiny revenue decline, but they explain that's just due to customer delays. It'll pick up in Q4, no biggie. Here's the big one though. Q3 gross profit increased to over $1 million so it was a total increase of about $400,000 here versus about $700,000 in Q3 24. So gross profit, that's a very significant percent increase on gross profit here, which is great to see. And then gross margin percent, again, significant increase, almost double gross margin percentage from Q3 24. And then improved operating loss. So they only had an operating loss of $270,000, which is great. I mean, they're pretty much almost net income positive at this point. You can see they're very much on track since it was reduced from a net loss of $650,000 in Q3 24, significant reduction. They're basically profitable at this point. They're so close. And of course, with, again, the $5.4 million cash on hand, if their loss is only $270K, then we know they can sustain this business and fund this business based on the cash that they have available to them without need to dilute. And then you look at, again, net cash, steady at $5.4 million. That's what you love to see. And then there was no long-term debt as of March 31st, 2025. So you love to see that as well. Now we will go into, we have news from June 20th here. which is they secured a $9 million contract to install 150 Barco laser projectors over 3 years. So, of course, you look at a company like this, where you have a $10 million market cap, basically, and they're securing $9 million contracts. Something's got to go off in your head. Hey, maybe these guys are undervalued. Obviously, a $9 million contract, significant, very significant when you look at the current revenue they're doing, which, again, we have annual sales report here of about 18.5 mil. So, of course, $9 million is a significant addition to that revenue stream that they already have. Okay, so that's very positive news for them. And then if we look at August 13th, most recent news of significance here is Moving Image partners with Metro Private Cinema to create 20-screen private screening room concept in New York City. This is a major partnership. Of course, doing something like this in New York City, it's an expensive project, it's a complex project, and it's the best city to be in for projects like this. So very positive partnership news here. And they have a lot more details. If you want to read it all in their press release, go ahead. I'm not going to bore you with it. But what we want to know is this a bullish partnership? Yes, it is. Okay, great. Moving on. We're going to take a look at, these are a couple things from the Q3 25 earnings call that I really want to highlight here. That was just music to my ears. It talks about our working capital continues to exceed $4.4 million, which puts us in a very strong position to fund our operations through fiscal 2026 and beyond. So if we're looking for making the case that that this is a non-dilutive play and there's no risk of dilution, the case has been made right here. So they pretty much tell you they're in a very strong position to fund their operations. Okay, that's great. That's the best thing you want to hear if you're looking for stocks with no dilution. They have to dilute when they're in not a strong position, right? But they are in a strong position. And then the other thing I want to highlight here is they talk about we currently anticipate revenue of approximately over $5 million in Q4. And then this includes a CADI product sale for NFL installation for professional to increase their presence in professional sports markets. Our stadium and arena construction and remodel segment remains robust. So if we get a nice juicy press release that has the NFL in that press release, then you're looking at what I would assume to be quite a positive reaction to that news in the market. That's if we're looking at, hey, what's a strong catalyst coming up for this stock? This is one of them. This is a nice little teaser to a potential catalyst for this stock. Is if you get that NFL PR, that would be great. And then the last thing I want to talk about with this stock is because it's a low float, they have all this cash, and it's an American company. Well, we know what the theme has been for these American companies on the NYSE and NASDAQ that have a lot of cash and they're small caps is they do the crypto stuff, right? We see lots of crypto treasuries, all these types of companies that are in a very similar position to MITQ going the crypto treasury route. And of course, it makes their stock absolutely explode. It's been the hottest thing on the market. So I found this post on Facebook actually, which sums it up really well here with the speculation in regards to MITQ possibly doing a crypto treasury themselves, since they're in a very similar position to other companies that have done it. And he says MITQ is starting to look like a sleeper that could turn into a serious runner. The company is already profitable and not weighed down by dilution. We talked about that, which makes it far cleaner than most names at this price level. They have clear ties to NFTs and digital content, and with the way the market is rewarding companies that have crypto treasuries, MITQ could easily follow in the footsteps of Octo with news that sparks major volume. This chart has just confirmed a golden cross on the daily, a strong technical sign of a trend reversal, and recent news has been quietly putting eyes back on the stock. With its strong fundamentals, hot sector exposure, and a chart that's signaling strength at the bottom, MITQ has low downside risk, massive upside potential. Love this. I think this guy hit the nail on the head with this analysis. So shout out to Jimmy Carbaugh on Facebook, whoever you are. Great analysis of MITQ, and I appreciate the speculation on that crypto stuff as well, because it's a good idea and I could see them doing it. And then we'll take a look at the chart here. You can see we're pretty much at a key break level, right? You have these trend lines, and then you have this upper resistance at 155. Now, if you break 155 up here, this is blue skies. This thing is squeezing as far as it wants to squeeze. So 155 is our big level. I would have said our big level was right around here at Friday's close, but if you take a look at the chart Friday after hours, which unfortunately FinViz is not showing us, But after hours, the stock closes around 140. So we're already above. Once we open up on Monday, this is already above this key resistance here. It's already above this 133 resistance. So we're breaking both trend lines. We're breaking our 133 level, and the next level to break is the 155 level up here. And if you do that, we're cooking. I mean, we're looking good. You break 155, this thing's soaring, especially on such a tight share structure, such a tight float. Love to see it, and no dilution as well means we have lots of potential here. And again, if they hit us with a surprise crypto PR, this thing's gone, dude. So love the setup with MITQ. Keep an eye on it going into this week, especially with the strong close on Friday. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.